We're now reaching to the point where 2000s era nostalgia is becoming a thing. Yes. I just showed them the trailer to the new Devil May Cry anime, and then out of nowhere you hear, "Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort." Evanescence is also part of the OST as well. It just, they knew exactly what they were doing. Hello, testing. 1, 2, 1, 2.
We ordered another round of coffees.
No breathing.
Good.
Don't give a fuck.
One was enough for you. One was enough.
It's like, you know, when the toilet's blocked, you got to throw like 2 flushes to get that thing down. The tiredness is the block right now.
Okay,
We started the engine, now we got to pump.
I'm awake. I hear Papa Roach in anime, and I'm like, we have entered the right era.
Yeah, I have so much energy now.
This is how we bring the anime man back into anime, man.
This is my last resort.
You made an anime video.
Huh?
You made an anime video.
I did make an anime video.
Did people like it?
I guess.
I like how you said that with like, what?
Well, like,
because
it's been so long. I wasn't sure if people if they like revolted against the idea. You know, were they happy? Did they come? Did they watch?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. All good? All right. Welcome back to another episode of Trash Taste. I'm Connor, your host. Once again, joined by the boys, Joey and Gaunt. And today is the Trash Taste Anime Club.
Well, it's just a segment since we are continuing the Anime Club by technically not watching anime.
Yes.
Once again.
Wait, what do you mean?
We did watch anime.
We did watch anime.
Well, no, okay, God. It was Chinese anime. So I guess
the word actually is donghua. Actually,
I'm saying Chinese anime. No, that's so.
What's
yes,
the difference?
we watched 2 pieces of media. We always try to watch at least like one rough anime kind of thing. So this one was Link Click this time. And we also watched Longlegs, the movie.
Which Joey recommended us to watch last time.
So if you want to go and watch our full reactions to these pieces of media, go over to the Trash Taste Patreon where you can go and watch that video right now.
You can also vote. The patrons get to vote for one of the suggestions that we watch for Anime Club this time around. You guys voted for Link Click.
Yes.
And fantastic recommendation. When this one won, I was like, I'm excited to re-experience Link Click.
Wait, have you seen this one before?
Of course I've seen this one before.
Oh, wait, what do you mean, of course? I don't like it.
He's a Chinese animation connoisseur.
Maybe gone, he's just so locked in on Japanese media. He's like, China, out of my peripheral. I don't know.
Same, but different.
Yeah.
Well, I had heard of Link Click before, but I never actually got around to watching it because I only heard good things about it. So I was excited. And then when I heard it was Chinese anime, I was like, oh, good, because I think I've only ever seen one other Chinese anime.
Yeah.
Which was the, what was it? It was the, I forgot the name of it. It was the one where they were like, King something.
King's Avatar?
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the only other Chinese anime I watched.
Bro.
Yeah.
King's Avatar is an esports Chinese anime. The only good the only decent esports anime that has come out.
Yeah, it was decent.
Because Japanese animation can do a lot of things. Esports is not their specialty, but this is something different. King's Avatar was I think the first proper esports anime that correctly goes over the kind of esports scene. And
I think it was also the first Chinese anime that most people were aware of. If I'm not mistaken.
I mean, it was the first Chinese anime I was aware of.
Yeah, same.
And it basically just is a sports anime, except they're playing an esports. And
it was pretty good.
Yeah.
But never mind that. We're talking about Link Click today, which is my second experience watching a Chinese anime.
Yeah, I just love the fact that Joey's like, where do we watch this? And I'm like, Joey, it's not on Netflix. You're going to need subtitles. You're going to come down to our level,
I'm
Joey.
like, is this how you guys feel all the time? I had to turn on subs. I was like, what is this?
I spent forever trying to find a way to watch this.
So I watched it on Bilibili.
Yeah, it's a Bilibili show.
Okay, yeah. That's what I figured. Because I think one of you guys said it was also on Crunchyroll. But Crunchyroll in Japan doesn't work, so I don't have an account for it.
I thought I had a Crunchyroll account. But I guess I don't.
Oh, really?
I guess
expired.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I got given like a juiced employee account, right? Where, like I had like a permanent membership, and then I guess they took it away from me.
You got demoted?
I guess so. Because I remember one time I don't know what it was for. I got given the account, and I was like, oh yeah. And then like 2 years ago, I was going to watch my voice acting to see like if they put it in the show, like if it's real.
And you couldn't watch it.
I couldn't watch it, so I just gave up.
Fair enough.
So I never found out. But so I was like fucking trying to find it for ages. I didn't know we could watch it on Bilibili.
Yeah.
Was it free on Bilibili?
Yeah.
What the fuck,
The subs were not great.
Yeah, the subs were rough.
We'll get into that.
Okay.
I mean, I watched this when it finished airing originally. I watched season 2 as well.
There's 3 seasons.
You've watched the whole show?
I've watched the whole show.
Is there 3 seasons?
Sorry?
Is there 3 seasons?
There is 2.5 seasons.
Okay.
So the latest arc is a prequel to the show right now, since it's the beginning that you watched has it's kind of a different vibe to what the show has turned into. The beginning you guys watch is much more like episodic, and then afterwards it has like an ongoing storyline. Afterwards.
So do you want to explain the rough premise to people before we jump into talking about it a little bit?
Sure. I mean, I think one of the biggest strengths of Link Click is that it really doesn't fuck around with its premise.
Yeah.
It kind of just jumps you into like, okay, there are these 2 guys. And I remember seeing this poster and I'm like, oh, it's a fucking yaoi. It's 100% a yaoi. Yeah. And then my biggest surprise
look at the size of those fingers.
Those hands are way too big.
Those are some yaoi hands right there. And then I watched the episode. I was like, wait, they're just bros. They're just 2 bros.
I mean, there's a lot of sexual tension there. Though.
Okay.
Come on.
Historians.
Is there a lot of sexual tension?
I felt, especially after episode 2, I was like, there's a bit of sexual tension between these guys.
Can you not eat some ramen with your bros? And
that's like an average day for Joey. That's like,
ramen isn't going to eat itself. I need a bro to help me out.
But there's these 2 guys. One guy can jump into any picture that they have, right? Any picture. So if you have a picture, he can basically teleport himself into whoever took that picture, and
which is such a cool premise.
Like takes over their body.
And takes over their body, and he has a 12-hour limit for each picture. And his other guy, so that was the guy in the black hair. Do you remember their names?
Sheng?
No, I don't actually.
Sheng, I think. Oh, the name's right there.
Oh yeah,
Sheng Zhaoxi.
So the black-haired guy, I believe his name is Sheng Zhaoxi, and Lu Guang, which is the white-haired guy.
Yeah.
The white-haired guy can see the events of the photo. So he's basically playing guide whenever Sheng Zhaoxi jumps back into the past and tells him exactly what to do.
It's like those Mission Impossible missions where Tom Cruise is on the ground and Simon Pegg is like, go here, do this, do this. No. Jump in, jump out.
Exactly. And the premise is that they have different jobs. Sometimes it's corporate espionage. Sometimes it's finding some information that is lost to the past.
It's like detective work.
Yeah, it's kind of like detective work. And that's basically the premise.
Well, which, by the way, really cool and unique premise, which I'm surprised we haven't seen in anime yet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think this is a pretty unique take on time travel.
Yeah, I agree.
A lot of the times, this is one thing I really liked is that they didn't spend too much time explaining like, oh, by the way, this is time travel. Here are how the mechanics work. It's just like, these 2 guys, one guy can jump to the past, one guy can see into the past.
And it's the whole premise of, because they jump into the subject, and I guess they go into the past because obviously a photo is a fragment of the past. They have to act out like the character that they're in without changing the events, because otherwise the events of the future change, and then a whole paradox thing.
It's very, very lighthearted for some serious ramifications.
Yeah.
They're all like, we could change the world as we know.
Well, what I think is also cool is that Sheng, the black-haired guy, when he enters whatever the subject is of the picture, he also, I guess, like he's still himself when he's in that new body, but also slightly the personality and the life of the actual person he's inside of is also intermixed with it. So he can feel all of that person's emotions and, all of their events and stuff like that, which a lot of the time, especially in the first episode, it clashes a lot with like his personal like feelings towards the situation, which is like, very creates a bit of tension because it's like, oh, well, you know, I get how you feel about this like shitty situation, but don't say or do anything too brash because then the future will change. And, you know, it's this constant like fighting between morals that you see right from the first episode, which again, I liked because they didn't fuck around with it. And it was quite obvious right from the get-go, like, okay, this is the premise, this is the consequences. And it's kind of interesting how they like play around with that. One thing I did really like though was the fact that in order to activate their powers, they got to dap up. It's like, Mom, big dog, and then they time travel. I was like, let's go, boys.
Yeah. So, do you guys want to explain the events of the first episode? Since all of this is kind of episodic, so I think the first episode, it's one of the strongest first episodes that, you know, I think in a while when I watched this, because it just really tells you everything you need to know about the series that you're getting into.
Do you want to explain it, Connor?
Yeah, so I mean, right away we just jump right into it. We jump into this girl, but is it because maybe I was rewatching it and it was going quite fast in the start? Are we like explained initially why we're jumping into this girl, or is it just like because they just jump into it, right?
Yeah, they get given a job. They're like, we need some information from this corporation.
Yeah. They explain it super quickly.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was like, what? What the fuck's going on? And then also it took me like 2 minutes, honestly, to adjust to hearing Chinese.
Yeah.
Like I'm not used to hearing it, and so it was like kind of like whiplash.
Yeah.
As an anime fan, I think when I see the visuals, I'm so used to hearing Japanese or like maybe occasionally English, but mostly Japanese, right?
Yeah.
And then, especially because Chinese is such a tonal language.
Yeah.
Getting used to hearing like emotion like being delivered through also and tones being delivered was like really kind of like at first I was like, what?
Yeah.
Because, you know, in a tonal language, obviously tone is very important, but then they're trying to voice act. And so they're trying to give emotion whilst also doing the correct tone to pronounce the word.
Yeah.
I found that, like, it reminded me of when I tried to watch that Thai hentai. I was like, this is so weird. And then by episode 3, I was like, I'm in.
Yeah,
like
totally.
no different. But like the
Totally.
initial one, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is so new. So we jump right into it. We're doing corporate espionage. We jump into this girl who's doing overtime, and initially, like you just get thrown right into. It's Cheng. I don't know.
Yeah.
Am I pronouncing that correctly?
I mean, I can't speak Chinese. So
Yeah, I can't speak Chinese.
neither.
I think it's Cheng Jiao but
Brother, I'm like Japan. I'm like, yeah, I know quite a fair bit. Chinese, I crumble at like anything. I'm like, so we jump into Cheng, and like right away they are arguing, and it feels like very serious that the fact that they need to make sure they do not change the space-time continuum.
Yeah.
And they need to get this corporate espionage successful, but they don't want to change anything. And right away, Cheng's like, nah, I think I might do my own thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, Cheng, you gotta lock in.
I'm like, bro, this isn't your first rodeo. You should know this.
Yeah. And Lou the entire time is like, just do the mission.
he's like, he gives him. So what happens is Lu Guang gives him like the lines, the fucking play-by-play.
script.
And Cheng Jiao is just like, I'm gonna just.
What if I just improv? Though?
I'm just gonna. Well, we're like an improv brotherhood right here.
Because right initially we jump into it, and then you're kind of okay. So you're like getting familiar with the fact that okay, he is jumping into a character. You're trying to figure out okay, is he this character? Is he this character?
Yeah,
he's both. He's playing the character that in that scenario, but he's also himself.
Yeah,
and then
Emma, I think her name was.
Yeah, and like right away we get into a scenario where you're like, really testing the what ifs of the boss like hits on Emma.
Yeah.
And like comes on to him. And Cheng's like, nah, but is it gay though? Is it gay if I'm making out with a man while in a woman's body?
Yeah.
And so obviously they have to, he's like, stick to the scenario, pushes him off, and they continue. And then, so we kind of just play out through the day of Emma. And has a phone call with her mom. It's very sad because her mom's like, are you eating? You better be eating properly.
Yeah.
And basically, we get a taste of like maybe the emotional ramifications of having to jump into people all the time.
Yeah.
Because he has like, this is where we learn where he has the same dreams that they have or gets the same emotions, feels the same emotions that they feel. And then he ruins this girl's life, like really casually.
Well, the girl's life.
I'm terrible explaining this.
Yeah. Well, what happened?
Well, girl's life's gonna be ruined anyway. But
what happened is that the girl, her boss who was hitting on her, they have a meeting, and then the boss's wife storms in and be like, "You've been talking to that hoe. I know you have a side hoe." And somehow she doesn't blame the boss. She blames her.
It's like, "Is you the hoe?"
I was like, "Am I missing something here? I don't fully understand the cultural difference."
I also felt maybe that because the Bilibili subtitles into English were not great.
It was very funny, the subtitles.
It was really funny, and also just like I felt like I was missing out on a lot of context. In a weird way. Like I could get what was happening, but just some of the direct to English translations in this, I was like, it was clearly just the most broken English ever. And I was like, okay, I'm going to assume they meant it like this.
Yeah, those are like proverbs that we were given at some point. And I was like, I bet this is like an extremely loose idea of what is actually trying to be said.
Which is, I mean, Japanese has a lot of that as well, so it makes sense, right?
Like sometimes I hear one of the proverbs they say, which comes up a lot in this because it's Chinese anime, and I'm like, damn, I bet that sounded fire in Chinese. And in English, I'm like, I think I get where you're going. I think I get where you're going for.
In the first episode, and I'll be completely honest, I don't understand how he went from, and this again, my dumbass. We went from the woman walking into him thinking the boss was cheating. Right? So this woman storms in. How fucking dare you? And then next scene, it's like, and then corporate espionage happened. And I'm like, when did that happen?
So as the boss's wife comes in, right, smacks her, throws her onto the ground, the laptop that has all of that information also falls to the ground. And as the boss and the boss's wife are arguing, Cheng is like fucking looking at it and being like, all right, I have all the information. And I guess whatever Sheng is seeing, Lu can also see. So Lu sees that through Sheng's eyes and goes like, I have all the data now, get out.
It's crazy because you can watch the fucking footage. I'm literally staring at it. I'm like, how did I miss this? Like, I feel like I just wasn't paying attention.
This episode is sponsored by Factor. Boys, have you ever cooked your own meal?
No.
Hell no.
Well, don't you want a nice, nutritious meal that you can prepare in 2 minutes instead of just ordering out every single day?
Gon, I would if there was even an option. Do you know of any options for that?
Well, thankfully, Joey, this episode is sponsored by Factor.
Make this your best season yet with nutritious 2-minute meals from Factor. Eating well has never been this easy. Just heat up and enjoy, giving you more time to do what you want. Get outside instead of prepping and cooking indoors. Factor meals arrive fresh and ready to eat, perfect for any active lifestyle. And with 45 weekly menu options, you can pick gourmet meals that fit your goals. Choose from Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, and more. And Factor powers your day with satisfying breakfasts, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, and guilt-free snacks and desserts. It's easy to savor more this spring. Factor meals packed in the flavor with none of the fuss.
So unfortunately, Factor isn't available here in Japan, but it kills me every time to know that because we've tried Factor in America and it's been
chef's kiss.
Every time I've had them in LA, they're so good, man.
Yeah,
I just
really good.
500 of them.
Please bring it to Japan.
Please.
Factor, I beg of you.
Please.
So what are you waiting for, boys? Get started at factormeals.com/trashtaste50 off and use code trashtaste50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code trashtaste50 off at factormeals.com/trashtaste50 off for 50% off plus free shipping.
Back to the episode. This is the kind of show that you have to lock in when
I realized
while you're doing it. It's like it's not going to just explain things, or it will explain things, but it's going to explain things very, very fast and expect you to keep up with it.
It was an incredibly dense first episode.
And I think the big conflict in this episode was you saw like a baby bit of it where, you know, when the boss's wife comes in and starts blaming her and fucking she goes full Karen slap on her, right? And Cheng Xiaoxue is just like, I cannot fight back.
Yeah.
And me, as the audience member, you are seeing her being, yo, hit her back. That bitch deserves it.
World star.
It's like everything about your emotions screams, fight back.
Yeah.
She deserves it. But everything that he lives out has already happened.
Yep.
And what has already happened is that Emma didn't fight back.
Yep.
You know, so there's nothing that he can do to change Emma's fate. And that is a conflict that they play with immensely well in future episodes, because as the stakes get higher, without spoiling exactly what happens, as the stakes get higher, you see Shang Xiaoshe get put into situations where he know that he shouldn't change the past. It's not that he can or can't, but he knows that the rules that they said he shouldn't change the past. But morally, living out some of these scenarios, he finds himself in, and feeling the same emotions of every person he inhabits, it gets harder and harder to do as the stakes get higher and higher for some of the different cases that he basically has to act out, like script, word for word, script, beat by beat for beat.
Yeah.
And it's a great fucking formula. Yeah. It's such a good formula. Honestly, it's
such a cool, unique take again on like the whole time travel thing, but also, in a weird way, it creates like some really good like human drama stories. Yeah. Because like in the first episode, for instance, even though Shang Xiaoshe is like trying so hard to not do anything that could alter the future of Emma's life, because I guess Emma at this point is like unaware that these events are happening, because then once he comes out of her body and she looks at her phone, she realizes that she had, or not she, but Shang Xiaoshe in Emma's body had texted back her parents to be like, I miss you, or whatever. And that creates like a really cool, nice bond, and being like, and that as an audience makes you go like, oh, Shang, actually wants her to have like a good life.
He's meddling though. He's meddling.
Then, maybe he thought, oh, this is like such a small little thing, even though it was different from her actual past, that it couldn't possibly change her future. Lo and behold, though, at the end of the first episode, as Emma is running to the train station to go meet up with her parents, she runs into this random blonde-haired dude, and then next minute, she's dead.
Yep.
So there's this like whole mystery that's built up from the first episode, and I was like, oh, okay. I thought maybe, because I didn't know this was episodic, I thought, oh, maybe second episode we're gonna, maybe go into that case or whatever.
Yeah.
No, instead, because it's episodic, we run into episode 2 and suddenly
it's totally different vibes.
Totally different vibe.
Vibe reset.
Vibe reset.
The girl who died? Nah, fuck her.
Yeah. An old woman comes out and she's like, yo, some bitch has stolen my ramen formula that I need to make some big bank off of, and I need you to go and find this formula.
Yeah.
And so the whole second episode now is these two completely different characters now, where they have to go back in time and basically try and figure out, okay, what's the secret sauce that this girl is putting into this ramen formula that is making everyone go crazy.
I like this episode.
I really like this episode. And it ends up obviously becoming this like very wholesome actual story of this friendship between these two girls who started this ramen shop together.
Spoiler alert, the secret sauce is definitely not Yuri.
Yeah. I think in my reaction, I was just like, it's MSG. She's dumping a fuckload of MSG in that bitch. It's gonna go off.
Yeah, that has been the secret sauce for a while in a lot of ramen.
Right.
But it is basically just a different kind of espionage, because they go through the past lives between the partnership between these two girls that grow up to be women, as they start their ramen shop and ramen business, and it's them definitely not fucking at all.
No. What was up with that? I was watching it and I'm like, are they just like, why the creators clearly want them to fuck?
Yeah.
Are they like just not allowed?
Nah.
Like I was because are you allowed to like portray like lesbian relationships in Chinese media?
I have no idea.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, is this like the boundary? Like, is this how far they can get up to? Like, it's not lesbian though. They don't exist.
I started laughing during like the ramen scene where it's just them sharing a bowl of ramen.
Lady in the tram.
And then they have the lady in the tram moment.
And they're like, quick, no, it's gay, stop. That's literally.
Bite it off.
Yeah, that's literally. So that's why I was like, is this literally like, because I genuinely, I don't know. Like, I was under the impression that like there are certain types of media you just can't like stories you can't portray. Like I've never heard of have you ever heard of a Chinese gay love story? Like I've never heard of that. Like I'm sure maybe it exists, but so like they were doing that and then he's losing his ear like, cut it off, cut off the ramen. Could you imagine lady in the tram, but there's like another dog in the ear. Nah, it's gay, stop.
It's like we crossed the boundary.
Yeah.
There needs to be at least
the Spencers won't allow it.
There needs to be at least 5 centimeters of ramen.
The clearance, social distance. It was such a shame because it was not a shame, but like it was just they'd still managed to create such a heartfelt, like really emotional relationship there,
yeah,
or even implied relationship, whatever the fuck. It was really good. I really like this episode a lot.
Yeah,
I think what I like as well, especially just within these first 3 episodes, is that like at this point in as you're watching it, you really don't know the backstory, or I guess like the whole identity of even these 2 main characters, right?
You don't know shit.
You don't know anything. But what I really liked about it was that you get to I guess the characters that Shang Jiaoxi like actually goes into, some parts of their lives also reflect upon his own life.
Yeah.
Like for example, like in the case with the first episode with Emma, she obviously has, a slightly, I guess not distant, but I guess like she's far removed from her parents, where it's also hinted that Shang Jiaoxi also might be in a similar situation where like his parents are not in his life, and that makes him feel really sympathetic for Emma.
It's a cool concept to get like someone else's emotions, then have it applied to your own memories.
Yeah. But I think that's what drives a really cool like dynamic in the story, because Shang Jiaoxi like feels sympathy for these characters, he's like, fuck, I really want them to have the better life that I couldn't have, but I can't do it because I'm a spectator.
Is this what happens if like an extrovert was in an introvert's body?
It's like, just talk to them. Just call them, bro.
I'm going to talk to them.
It's like, what are you doing? Just call them.
It's kind of what it felt like sometimes. Where he's kind of pushing the situations forward. And like, I guess, because, like you mentioned, it's episodic. So like the first episode doesn't, like, we have the scenario, and they tease this mystery. And then episode 2, we just get like, love story time. And then it's like 2 different characters that we just met, and then the secret recipe all along was friendship and loving each other.
Well, not quite, but
it was you. You were the recipe the whole time. We get a mystery where she's trying to find the secret ingredient. Turns out the secret ingredient, she gave it the whole time.
She knew the
but
entire
she forgot, and she let it get in the way of their friendship and love together.
And I think we can talk about the complex mechanics of like time travel and how cool the concept is, but I think at its core, it's just great fucking writing. It's just great short stories. And episode 3 that I'm sure you guys watched is like parts of a short story.
Episode 3 was just Chinese slam dunk.
It was a sports anime.
It was fucking epic.
I remember watching episode 3. I was like, are we going fucking Kuroko now?
Yeah.
What's happening here?
It's kind of cool because they almost used it as like a vehicle, the time travel mechanic, to do a sports anime episode. It was sick. Because the guy's like, yeah, man. Yeah, I wish I didn't fuck things up back then. And then they go, and he's like, all right. And he just turns out to be the fucking Kobe of like Cheng is literally Kobe. And then just starts tearing it up on the court, which in my head, I was like, bro, they were like, go back in time. Please make it subtle. And then he just starts slam dunking, doing like backflips.
Bro broke so many ankles.
I'm like, this is clearly not subtle. And if I was in school, I would remember the one time if Gant just suddenly became Kobe. Like, I would not forget that. Like that would probably alter my life.
Yeah, the rest of his team is like, damn, you've been practicing without.
I would see Gant differently for the rest of my life. Gant was just an absolute god one day at basketball, right? So I was like, I feel like any reservations that Cheng had of changing the time-space continuum just went out the window because he was like, but I want a ball there.
It's like, when I see a b-ball, I can't help myself.
It's like, no, I respect time travel until the core. And he like absolutely just fucks everything up. And so, I mean, we are very much glossing over it. And the entire time, Lou's like, bro, hold back. Bro, hold back. Stop. Fake it. He's like, you can't fake being talented. And then obviously he's getting his emotions and stuff from the guy. It's just like, episode 1 and 2, he like is reserved. He's trying to be a little more thoughtful. And episode 3 just goes out the fucking window.
Oh my God.
And then it ends on a cliffhanger of like him actually just changing the course of history. And then it just ends. And you're like, no, I want to see what happens.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, this could change anything. Like,
totally.
This is one of those shows where I kind of watched in like a single day. Like it's one of those shows where at the end of every episode, it's just like, shit, I want to know what happens next. Shit, it's like perfectly paced. The arc you guys are currently watching is one of the most fucking best arcs in the first season. In
The
my
basketball arc?
I mean, a lot happens in that arc. I think that's the first 2, maybe 3 episode arc.
Right.
But eventually, everything, as you can probably tell, everything leads up to a ongoing mystery storyline, which way they eventually get into during the second half of season 1 and then continuing on in season 2. And yeah, this is a banger show.
Also, the art and animation is dope.
The background art,
dude. The fucking ending song is
no. The opening and ending.
The opening and ending
is like
banger.
S tier, man.
Banger.
Holy shit!
When the ending first came on in episode 1, I was like, "Yo, let's fucking go!" It went so hard. Chinese hip hop, fuck yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of like got that JoJo effect where you hear like the first few notes of the ending song, and you're like, no, but also, I'm excited to hear this banger ending.
Not skipping this.
Yeah. Absolutely not skipping. And the opening as well. I fucking love the opening of this. Especially with the complex hand choreography animation.
The tutting?
As well.
Yeah, the tutting shit.
Yeah.
Bro, they went so hard on that.
I thought you kind of feel there's everything they went. There's not a single aspect of the show that lacks.
Yeah, I agree.
Everything
it doesn't
just
fuck
goes
around.
crazy.
Like, it gets straight to the point, easy to understand, yet it leaves so much room for potential story, and also like it doesn't give everything away immediately, so you're just excited for the next episode, which is like the perfect formula for any kind of episode anime like this.
Yeah, it's
the Chinese cooked on this, bro.
They did.
It's cool. It reminded me when I was watching it of like almost how watching like Castlevania, like how that replicates anime style from like a Western perspective, and seeing it from the Chinese lens as well, and everyone trying to get this one style to look good, and then they just cook.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think because before this, I'd watched a bunch of Donghua before, and I thought like that animation had kept leveling up, getting closer to anime, and I think this to me was the breaking point where I'm like, oh, this is just a good show all around. There's nothing I can say. Compared to anime, this is done well, and that is done well, but it's missing in this part. But no, in this case, everything was done well. This is just a top tier show that I could recommend to most people.
Yeah.
And if you're an anime fan, if you're an animation fan, or if you're just a fan of good TV series, this is fantastic.
Yeah, this show did anime better than I'd say about 80 to 90% of other anime.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, we're getting to the point where it is just the stories now, like the quality of the story that is going to be the determining factor. So I feel like animation is it's there already. It's and the music in this was phenomenal.
So good.
Although there was like a couple of times I was like, turn it down just like 3 decibels. It was like a little too loud. And I was like, we got to mix this differently. Like, because they're trying to talk, you're like, and you're like, what are you saying? What?
I did think that at first, but then the more I listened to the music, I was like, turn it up.
It was phenomenal. My speakers were like fucking shaking. I was like, turn it down.
It's like, I can read the subs, it's fine, just turn it up.
There's like one point where this guy's going on like a piano solo, and it's getting louder and louder to the point where like I literally am just reading subtitles. It's like being in the club.
Yeah.
You're like, what? What did you say?
The soundtrack almost reminded me of like it almost reminded me of like Persona a little bit.
Really? In what sense?
In the sense that it was just this like really just like funky, just like vibey kind of street jazz type stuff where I'm just like, which perfectly fit with the vibe and the art of this show so well. I love this show.
The one thing I wish that we just got more of in like the first 3 episodes was just kind of maybe learning a little bit more about Chang and Lu. But I know that will come around.
Yeah.
But then I guess that's also like a confidence that the show has. The show is confident that it doesn't need to tell you everything up front.
I mean,
it'll give you the information, and you can pick up some stuff.
You already can pick up with the decisions they make. You know that Chang Xiaoxue is someone who is very emotionally charged.
I just want to know what happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's good though, right? Like I'm clearly interested in these characters, and I want to learn more. And the show's great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this.
I think it's a fantastic show, and it was on my like top anime list of the year that it aired. I think it was like number 4, if I remember correctly.
I mean, it's fucking ranked number 52 on Mal. So
the only thing that like, and I want this to change so badly in shows is that I could not figure out which was the season I was supposed to watch.
What do you mean?
Because they were all named differently. They weren't like season 1, 2, 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. So it's Link Click.
Yeah.
And then it's link click 2.
What? I typed in link click and then
it's link click Bryden arc.
Yeah, I think when I found the Bryden arc first. And I was
Okay.
like, wait, this doesn't look right.
Yeah, that's
then I was like, okay, link click. And then on 2 different websites, they both said link click came out 2 different years. And I was like, this is not helpful. I'm trying to just watch link click.
Yes.
This is like, okay, this is just me nitpicking. But thank God they just called season 2 too. But like the arc.
Okay, we have kind of like an intermission arc.
Me complaining, just call it 2. They literally did. I mean, the fucking arc before.
Like, how do I know which one it is?
Yeah. And they literally do it. They're like, bro.
Fate fans be like, we wish. We wish.
Fate would be so much easier if it was just Fate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
But no, I mean, it's. I believe a season 3 is coming.
Oh shit.
So right now we are. The intermediate series just aired, which is a prequel arc to the mainline story that they've set up. I will say I think my favorite season so far has been season 1.
Yeah.
But it's kind of evolving into a different kind of show now. It's going more into like the mystery kind of like thriller aspect to it. Whereas season 1 I think was very good at telling human drama and getting you very, very emotionally charged. But still a banger show. Yeah. And I think season 2 has an equally good, if not better, opening than season 1.
Damn.
Which is I didn't think would happen.
Do we get to see more tutting?
No, it goes like I won't spoil, but it goes like a completely different route. And just does something super, super unique.
Hell yeah.
So
I was shocked that they were like advertising their business like a Shopify store or something. Watch us have a fucking Shopify ad right here. We just cut to it right now.
Yeah, right now.
This episode is sponsored by Vessi.
If you're a regular viewer of Trash Taste, which I hope you are, then you'd know that we absolutely love Vessis.
We cannot go anywhere without our Vessis. Joey wore Vessis to my wedding, and I am so glad because I now get to repay the favor by wearing Vessis to Joey's wedding.
You better wear Vessis to my wedding, boys.
We're Vessi gang here, guys.
Hell yeah, boys. And there's a good reason why we wear Vessis to each other's weddings, because it's honestly perfect for any occasion. Rain, sleet, snow, or shine. You know that these bad boys are going to make sure that your feet are comfortable and alive.
Whether you're doing coffee walks, errands, casual workday, daycare drop-off, or even Joey's wedding, get a pair of Vessis for every perfect occasion. And also with the waterproof technology, no more planning outfits around the forecast. Simply just slip on your beautiful Vessis and you're out the door with ease.
Ooh.
And with their amazing soft soles and breathable design, it's perfect for every day.
And right here we have the weekend sneaker, which we are all very aware of because these are the sneakers that I actually wear every single day. I actually have the gray version of these. I believe, Connor, you have the black version of these.
I do have the black version of these.
I think I actually have these white versions. We have the entire catalog here at Trash Taste.
Look, we like Vessis. You should buy a pair of Vessis. They are amazing. So just get yourself some Vessis. What are you waiting for? Make every day a little bit easier. Visit vessi.com/trashtaste now for 15% off your first pair at checkout and start exploring with confidence.
Back to the episode.
Like, because, it's like, hey, $5 and we'll change the course of history. I feel like this would be like top priority for any government. You know what I mean?
It's like, what are you doing in there?
It's like little Timothy on the street comes up like, hey man, my basketball game didn't end well. Can you change it? You know what I mean? I'm like, this is like...
Change that just like say less.
Like destroy the fabric of the universe as we know it. And then,
but I'm going to do it.
And then like 5 cupcakes. The sixth change of history is free. You know what I mean? Like I was just like the vibes and what you are doing is like totally different.
Yeah. I mean, bro, if I was this guy, if I had this power, I know. I would be like
government contracts only, like $15 billion. I'll change history,
bro. This is me going back to that one conversation where like I had the perfect comeback to this conversation, and I just go back just to say it. It's not going to change history, probably. I'm doing it for me. And
I wonder if like,
and like.
if this was like that public, surely people would just stop taking pictures. Like,
right.
You'd be like, no more pictures.
No.
Like, this is not allowed. Like, this is what you would do if you wanted to like frame somebody or something.
Yeah.
You would just change the course of history. And that's just, that's what I was thinking about the whole time. And then I found myself getting distracted by thinking about that.
Right.
Because I'm looking.
The real life scenario.
I'm just thinking because it was the moment where the third episode where this guy wants them to change this basketball game.
Yeah.
And like, he just comes up, he's like, are you the fucking guys? Yeah, I was stalking you.
Yeah, that was so weird.
And I was like, isn't that kind of insane that like everyone just knows that these guys are casually just changing history? and like this guy is stalking them and like successfully stalking them. And I'm like, this feels like we should be having some more precautions than what we have, given the nature of what we're doing here, you know?
Yeah.
And so then I got distracted, and then I was like, wait, why are we in the basketball game again? Okay.
Coffee.
Coffee.
Kelly time. Thank you.
Regular latte. Mine's oats milk.
Oh, your soy.
This one's an unknown.
So yeah, there was nothing written on that.
That was the one from last time. The mystery coffee.
I think that's oat milk.
Is it?
Oh yeah, you might have got a small oats milk. That might be what you had. Well, I mean, it was cool. I honestly do want to continue watching it. I just, man, I had to, full disclosure, I didn't know we could watch it on Billy, so I had to pirate it.
Right.
And brother, it buffered every 5 minutes and it was killing me.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I don't have a Billy account. And Billy, if you don't have an account, you can only watch it up to 480p.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, bro, that's pretty better than what I was doing. I had musical chairs of 360, 720, and 1080.
Yeah, but I also had like early 2000s Google Translate level subtitles as well. So I was just like, I had to just guess what was happening half the time.
It like weirdly sometimes just sucks to live in Japan with anime because you're kind of in limbo.
Yeah.
Because this is like one of the rare scenarios where I don't think we legally have a way to watch this in Japan.
Billy's the only way.
Yeah,
Is Billy in Japan?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, I didn't know. I was like, I never even signed up.
Dude, when you type in link click on Google, Billy's the first thing that comes up.
Wait, what? It wasn't for me.
What?
Yeah, it was. Dude, it wasn't.
Really?
It was Crunchyroll for me.
Oh, really?
And then I clicked on it and I was like, we're going to the whole thing.
Yeah, if you type in link click, it should.
Yeah, see?
Oh.
Yeah, I got sent
If you go watch link click,
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's on Abema as well.
That's probably the
What
Japanese
fuck is
dub.
Abema?
Abema is like the Japanese like TV app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never in my life.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have an account on that either. I saw it on Billy. I was like, all right, fine, this is good enough.
Maybe we should call this discussion.
If you guys had the opportunity to go back to your own past and do one thing, not necessarily change anything, but just like do one thing different.
Without changing anything?
Or maybe changing anything.
You just have to be like
something you're like, you know what? Maybe I'll take the risk. Maybe I'll take the risk with this.
Ooh, God, that's a see because like it's so hard, right? Because like
you can't change the
as we
future,
established in episode 1 of Link Click, even something as simple as sending a text to your parents can end up with you dead. So I would be scared to do anything really.
That's true.
I'd be scared to I would.
And maybe it's like interest where like it just keeps going like. The one minor change.
Yeah.
If I went back 30 years, would that one minor change like compound and like change literally everything?
Yeah.
Like I wake up and I'm just Joey.
Yeah.
From one change. I'm like, fuck, how did that happen?
It's like I'm Japanese now.
That would be my one change. I go back and become Asian. Just a small change. Just a minor cosmetic change.
A minor cosmetic change.
I just want to do like random shit. I'd be like, yo, Joey, take over me during this picture and just randomly just start speaking perfect Japanese and just see what happens.
I mean, that might be a good one. I would probably force myself. I would not even, I don't know how you change that. It's like, how do I change myself to be more interested in learning Japanese from a younger age? That would have been a lot useful.
You just go back to when you were like 3 years old and your mom is like, oh, do you want to watch the latest episode of Rugrats? It's like, no, mother. I require Doraemon. Put Doraemon on the TV, mother.
No, it'd be like the fucking, during the Geeks Plus launch party, it'd be like, Joey, go into my body and just spout off the most shonen-ass fucking speech in Japanese about how we are actually the heroes of anime and see what happens. See what all the top executives of Katakala say.
We are Nakama.
No, you go back to episode 1 of Trash Taste, and Joey would be like, I'm trying to watch more anime. Say that, and then see if it enforces Joey to hold him accountable to watch more anime.
True.
No, I think, realistically speaking, I wouldn't change anything.
I wouldn't change.
Dude, we got a pretty sweet life.
Yeah, I'm happy.
We get to rock up and talk about fucking Link Click. We have such a delicate balance. It's like on the fucking Thanos holding the balance. We get to do dumb shit. I think.
No, I would go back to your charity stream and be like, yo, Sydney, go for it. You can win this bid. Yeah, go for get the Smosh comic, Sydney.
What's another $2,000, Sydney?
Yes. Our life is going to be still okay in 2 years' time, so you can do it, honey. You can do it. Just shoot for your dreams.
You come back to reality, her room is just full of Smosh shit.
But
great recommendation, patrons.
I do want to keep watching.
Yeah, this one's really good.
Highly recommend. This is you marathon this very, very quickly type of shows. Highly recommend you guys keep watching it because I want to. I can say it is a banger show.
Hell yeah.
Well.
All right. Well, we're going to go from a piece of great media to my recommendation.
Just fuck you, Joey. This was so shit. I hated this.
I'm so excited to see what you guys reacted to with Longlegs, which, according to some people, some delusional people, is the modern day Silence of the Lambs. That's what people called this movie.
So I thoroughly hated this movie. I watched this with Iron Mouse.
Oh, really?
Iron Mouse was like, I'm interested in watching it. And I was like, well, I got to watch it for this fucking episode. So I was like, let's both watch it.
Okay.
We both hated it.
Yeah.
Because I had to bring in the cavalry as well.
You brought in Sydney as well?
I was halfway through. I was like, I literally phoned Sydney. I was like, I need you to watch this with me, please.
Has she never seen this?
No, she has seen this.
Oh, okay,
so you restarted it and you were like...
No. She's already seen it. So I was just like...
Just extra commentary.
Yeah. I was like, honey, I can't do this alone, man.
Okay, I'm so glad.
So first of all, why did you pick this?
Because the reason why I picked this is because when it initially came out, I was in the States at the time, and I saw so much advertisement for this movie, and so much word around the street that this was because this was also around the time where there was a little bit of a slump in horror movies, or thrillers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this was advertised so heavily, and I heard so many people saying that this was the best modern horror movie to come out in a really long time. Mm-hmm. And when you saw the advertisements for it and everything like that, it looked really compelling. It was like, oh, wow, Nicolas Cage in a horror movie that everyone's saying is amazing. Okay, this might actually be really good. Mm-hmm. So before I started to watch it, I did the most sensible thing and I went on to IMDb.
Yeah.
Because I just like to see, kind of get a vibe of okay, what does the general public like to think about this? Not that it'll persuade, how I feel about the movie, but I was just curious. And I went on and the review section on the IMDb page for Longlegs is the most ADHD review section ever because it's either one side of the spectrum or the other. People rate it as a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, modern day Silence of the Lambs, or people are this is the worst thing I've ever seen in cinema.
I mean, we are literally being filmed. I'm locked in. I'm watching it.
Yeah.
Bro. It is crazy how they managed to make an hour and a half feel like 3 hours. Yes. It's really impressive.
So I finally sat down and the kicker for me to finally actually watch it was I was in a call with my sister. And me and my sister have generally the same taste in movies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So she was like, yo, I finally watched Longlegs. And I was like, oh, really? I've been curious to know what it was like. How did you find it? Yeah. And she was like, bro, it was one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
It's awful.
And I need you to watch it to prove to myself that I'm not going crazy. Because I had so many friends around me who loved this movie.
So maybe I'm a dumb baby boy.
Okay.
Did you guys understand what happened?
No, not really.
Okay.
Because Okay, so to explain the premise.
Yeah, explain the premise.
The movie opens and there's some people are dying. Cool, fun. And then there's this Agent Lee Harker who is a psychic who like has psychic abilities, which is then never brought up again after 50 minutes. It's just dropped conveniently.
Yeah.
So she's just a psychic who works for the FBI catching killers. And somehow there is a lot of killings happening whilst all the doors and all the windows are all locked and sealed, but everyone in the house dies somehow. And there's no proof that someone broke in and entered.
Yeah.
And so that's the main mystery that we're introduced to. And it's, I don't know if it is an A24 film, but it feels very A24 in the terms of like, there's a lot of really beautiful shots that are set up and they linger and they like let it cook.
Very art housey.
Yeah, and it'll be like they'll show like, and the lighting is so beautiful. They'll have like, they'll show a house from like really far away and the composition of the frame is really nice. And then she'll walk in. It's just like visually eye candy.
Visually
like,
amazing. Yeah.
But that being said, when the shot lingers and nothing has happened for 30 minutes, you're like, fucking do something. And so it starts up and she's a psychic and they're hunting down this cryptic like Zodiac-esque killer. And so they go into this one house, and this happens pretty early on in the film, where as they enter the house, Agent Lee Harker is entering with an FBI agent. And she's like, oh, my psychic...
my spidey senses.
My spidey senses are telling me this is the house. Something's happened in here. And so they go in, and immediately when they go in, the other FBI agent with her gets shot in the head. And then the other guy also is then just like a normal dude who's like, yep, I did that. Arrest me. And so then they're like, okay, cool. That doesn't help us at all. Why did this guy do it? We don't know. And then we just have a bunch of these notes that are kind of telling us about what's happening. And then it kind of starts to unravel. But it unravels because Longlegs, it reaches out to Agent Lee Harker and is like, you're going to die next on her birthday.
Yes.
I guess.
And then I was like, at this point, I was actually invested. I was like, okay, this is an interesting mystery story.
This is about 30 minutes in. It's a pretty solidly paced at this point.
I do hate horror, so I'm not used to being filmed watching a horror movie, and I'm a bit embarrassed because you can definitely tell how much of a fucking pussy I am. My God. Especially, it was more like the jump scares at the beginning. I was
my
like,
God. Yeah, the jump scares were so annoying.
Yeah, and especially on those shots where they hold it.
Yeah, they hold.
So long. And the thing that pissed me off was you're like, is a jump scare coming? Is it going to be nothing? Is it just atmospheric? I don't fucking know. So half the time I was just fucking singing just to like cope. just to like break the tension to myself.
That's so cute. I gotta watch your reaction. Yeah, so funny.
You can see on my reaction.
So, Longlegs leaves a letter about 30 minutes into the film to our main character, Agent Lee Harker, saying like, "Oh, it's your birthday in a week," and then conveniently, Longlegs also leaves a note that gives her enough clues to be able to decipher. His language and the notes that he leaves at his victims' houses. What is that shot?
I watched it on Prime, and then there was just a random advertisement on it.
Anything, guys? That's so fucking funny.
Watch a horror movie with me. Where is my wife to help me out right now? But I can't remember. Slip inside.
How can you focus on the film while you're singing?
I'm just trying to break the tension for myself.
Meanwhile, I probably look like this. So Longlegs leaves a note whilst kind of saying, all right, you're next, agent. You're going to be next. Before this as well, we're kind of shown Agent Lee Harker going through a bunch of these like cryptic, kind of weird psychological tests at the FBI to kind of show that she's like gifted. And all the other agents like, damn, how did you solve that? And she's like, I don't know. And then we're kind of, the show, they're basically trying to tell us that she's like a genius. She can solve all these riddles and stuff. Then immediately solves the riddle. And then we find out that, something is happening where when these people in this house, they're changing. So they go and talk to one of the people who survived one of the Longlegs.
The first
victims. Yeah, the first killing. And she explains what happens where basically the dad kind of loses it from, I guess, did they explain the doll at that point, or is it?
Not yet. No.
So the dad goes insane and kills the entire family.
Yeah.
And then kills himself. And then that's it. And you're like, oh, okay, that's pretty
Weird.
strange.
Yeah.
And then we get some coordinates to go to a barn where we uncover, oh my God, what's this? It's a fucking doll. Whoa, that's trippy. And it looks like the people that are killing.
It looks like the children.
Yeah, it looks like the children.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of, hinted at that the doll somehow is the cause and effect of what's going on here.
Yeah.
And then Longlegs, played by Nicolas Cage.
This is the exact moment it turns from a horror to a comedy.
Yeah.
In my eyes.
He's kind of bad. I'm not gonna.
He's so bad.
Like, I know that they probably were just like, hey, Nicolas Cage, do your thing. We trust you. But like, yeah, he kind of is terrible in this.
He's so funny.
He's negative scary. Like, he is not scary at all. And like, maybe that's fun. And like, maybe that's fun for you. But like, I felt like, like you said, it turns the film into a comedy.
Yeah, the part that absolutely killed me the first time was like it like ran. This is like right around where they discovered the doll, and it just cuts to a scene where
he gets in like his
Longlegs
car, right?
is in his car.
Oh my God! This
and
fucking scene.
he goes like shopping for something.
Yeah,
and he's being really creepy to this like young girl who was like manning the register or whatever. And then it just cuts to him back in the car, and he just goes, "Mommy!"
Yeah. He's just like screaming random shit, and you're like, "What is wrong with this guy?
What's wrong with this dude?"
I'm like, I get what you're going for, but Nicolas Cage is just too Nicolas Cage.
It's so funny.
Like, I felt like I don't know. I felt like there needed to be a bit more cohesion with what they were going for. Because I felt like him as a character was kind of all over the place. I'm sure people were like, that's what it was meant to be.
Yeah.
But that's not what it felt like. It felt like Nicolas Cage, they just gave him a free pass to just say shit.
Yeah.
It did not feel like I was watching a psychopath.
No.
Because, again, I watched this like 2 weeks ago, so I'm trying to recall this to the best of my memory. After we discover this doll thing, Nicolas Cage goes to the girl who told us all about the first killing, and then suddenly now, after Longlegs has talked to her, she's back in Longlegs' camp. She's like, "No, I love Longlegs. He's the best. I love him. He's my," and we're like, "Okay, that's kind of weird." And then we discover that he is making these dolls to somehow control people, but we don't understand how it's working.
Even at the end of the movie, we don't know how he's doing it.
And then, honestly, dude, this shit is so fucking boring. Like, the dolls. We're like, oh God, the dolls are controlling them. How does he do it? And then they finally catch Longlegs, and you're like, great, this is amazing. And then Agent Lee Harker goes to interrogate Longlegs, and this is honestly where the film is at its like most like, Jesus Christ, man, come on.
They just gave Nicolas Cage a free pass to be Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
And
he's basically just screaming. He's just screaming and doing dumb shit and being Nicolas Cage. He looks like Nicolas Cage. He sounds like Nicolas Cage the whole entire time.
Yeah.
It's like me when I do a Joker impression. It's like, well, you wouldn't like me with these scars. It's like, he literally is just, it does not feel like Nicolas Cage is in a role. It feels like I'm watching Nicolas Cage cosplay the Joker.
Yeah.
And he's
It's just
like,
Nicolas Cage having a mental breakdown.
no, to me,
and it's the dichotomy between him being like this and everyone else being so serious.
Yeah.
Everyone is so serious.
and everyone just reacts him with the straightest face.
Like,
in the
he's the
world.
most serious psychopath, like genius of all time.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here being like, damn, Nicolas Cage really is parodying himself.
Yeah, he
that's
really is.
what it felt like.
Yeah.
With all like the Nicolas Cage roles that we've had before.
And so when they bring him into interrogation, he's like, you wouldn't like me, and like kills himself by bashing his head against the table.
But the last thing he says before he kills himself is "Hail Satan."
Yeah, which is also so cringe.
Is so cringe.
It's so cringe because then it kind of like any cool story this thing did have has now been boiled down to, haha, Satan did it all.
Yeah.
Satan controlled us. And you're like, okay, so any fun or interesting nuance of how the story could have unfolded is now just being stripped away.
Yeah.
Like, there is now no longer any stakes as to like why he's doing this. Oh, Satan is the one controlling all of this.
Yeah.
Which I think is such a shitty horror trope.
It is.
I've always never found it interesting when like, Satan has been doing it all along. You're like, okay, great. So now some weird faceless entity that you believe in has now been controlling all the events.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm supposed to be like, wow, it's so deep. Look at how twisted the human mind can become if we believe in a bad entity. But it was just not compelling at all.
Not at all.
And so he dies, hail Satan, and everyone's like, why did you do that? Why did you let him kill himself? And you're like, what the fuck? Like, this is so dumb. And it's the whole time in the interview, I'm like, just read his mind.
Yeah.
Just read his mind. Right. You have psychic powers. This is the first 50 minutes of the entire show is that you can do this. And now suddenly you can't do this anymore when it matters most. Okay, so that's very frustrating. And then she goes to his mom. Again, where reading her mind would have been super convenient at this point in the story. Her mom reveals that she made a deal with Longlegs years ago for her to be able to live and survive Longlegs. She made a deal to help Longlegs by delivering these dolls that Longlegs were making, which then the dolls were vessels that would then control
the family members.
Family and have them all kill each other.
Yeah.
And throughout the story, we've been kind of following the detective's boss, who has a daughter, and she's like, I'm going to deliver one last doll. And she goes and delivers a doll of the detective's daughter there, and then we go in, and it's a whole shit show.
Yeah.
And
then like
everyone dies.
Yeah, it's just like watching this movie, I was just like, I had so many questions because there were so many points in the story that just, even like taking away all of the Hail Satan shit and the psychic powers of the detective or whatever, just don't make any sense whatsoever from a storytelling perspective. It was the whole
psychic stuff they built up that magically was just forgotten.
Well, I actually watched Horror Movie Explained after finishing this movie.
Okay.
And I can explain everything.
Okay.
Because you know what the answer is?
What?
The devil. That's it. That was basically the answer to every little plot hole, to every little bit. It was the devil. It was the devil.
Yeah, because such a shit story like mechanic to use that.
Okay, because like let's because I have so many questions. Like, firstly, right from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Lee Harker is like, hey, I have these like psychic powers that just like where I just know. I get I vibe check the atmosphere to know if there's like.
It's because it's the devil like whispering to her,
right?
You know? So that's why it's like kind of like.
But my question is,
she's like immune from the devil's influence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though she has a doll.
Yeah.
And then the doll is then shot by the mother.
Well, the doll contained, because you forgot about the fucking brain thing.
The ball thing.
The metal ball.
All the dolls have a metal ball that has like Satan energy in the ball or something. It's not exactly clear.
And so when the mother made the deal, she sealed the memories, her memories of that event within the ball. So after she shot the doll, the memories came back, and she's like, "Oh, the devil has been guiding me this entire time with the
Wait, no,
psychic
that doesn't
powers."
make any sense because right before that happens, she's like, you know, after Longlegs kills himself, and the detectives are like, "Bro, you must have met this guy before. Like, he knew everything about you. Are you sure you don't remember seeing this guy in your life?" And Lee's like, "Oh fuck, I don't remember." Like it wouldn't be the most traumatic thing in your childhood. And then she only remembers after she goes back home and looks through a bunch of pictures, and then all of a sudden, like fucking.
She does remember when she looks at the picture before.
She looks at the pictures, and then she's suddenly like, "Oh yeah, I do remember this creepy fucking dude coming to my house."
It's the devil, innit?
That's annoying though, because like, you know, they build up this Longlegs, and then he's on screen for about 5 minutes tops, and then he's dead, and also like kind of a fucking loser, like. So it's like the whole 50 minutes that was spent building up this like creepy, weird Longlegs character is just kind of like void. Because at the end of the day, he's not even really a character. He's just a vessel for the devil who has no presence on screen at all, which is fine. I don't need to see a fucking like horned, hoofed thing to be like devil. But like. It's just such a boring fucking story premise. It's so shit.
I mean, like my question right off the bat, right, is like, I mean, I have a number of questions. First of all, the FBI just believes Lee. It's like, she's like, yeah, I've got these psychic powers, and the FBI is like, I bet. Like, you're not going to be a little bit skeptic about that at all. You're the fucking FBI, you know? And also, okay, so it's revealed that Longlegs has been living in Lee's childhood home ever since she was a child.
Yeah.
You didn't once think to go downstairs during the 20 years you were living in that house? Not once.
The devil compelled her to.
Also,
you know,
the FBI is pretty incompetent, right? At times, but I don't think they'd be that incompetent where they couldn't figure out that the same fucking guy was turning up to. Like, I'm sure they would have been like, check all the roads, ask around.
Yeah.
You know, you would have, if you saw Longlegs, you would have known, right?
Yeah.
So like in this world, you have to just like get your disbelief out that like for like 20 whatever killings they couldn't figure out this one weird white-haired guy was going to these houses, then shortly after everyone died.
Yeah, also,
you know
like,
I mean?
because also, like, you know, her mom was, like, dressing up as the nun and delivering the dolls, right?
Yeah, the people would have seen that.
Yeah, and it's like, you didn't ever think, like, how are there not, like, 20 police reports of, there is a nun that is just covered in blood leaving the crime scene every single time?
I come from a small town, not as small as these towns, but these fucking people, you would know if someone rocked up to someone's house because they're nosy as shit. Yep. You would know, bro. Yeah. You'd know if someone showed up because you hear the car in the driveway. Like, someone else would have seen this shit. And so the whole point of, like, you have to suspend disbelief that, like, everyone in this world is the shittest detective except for Harker Lee, which...
Yeah.
And even at that, she wasn't even that good. No. And also, it's miserable following her because, the actor did a good job, but the character's so fucking boring.
She's so paper thin. And it's just boring. Like, so boring. And it's just like all the conversations she's having with all the characters just don't seem real.
Yeah. And like stuff, whenever I watch horror movies like this, it just keeps reiterating to me that horror movie fans don't want good movies. They want horror movies.
That's what I'm saying.
They just want to see that the tropes they like be rehashed. Because like this, I can't imagine anyone who actually likes watching like a vast array of movies enjoying this.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's like
this was like highly rated when this came out.
That's what I'm saying.
The Rotten Tomato ratings.
By like horror fans, surely. Like I feel like because horror fans definitely have a different bar for like what they like.
I mean, horror fans deserve better than this fucking movie.
I mean, I think for like someone who watches a lot of horror tangentially, a lot of them come down to just like concept. Sometimes it's like a really, really cool concept. And Longlegs initially, I was invested in the concept. And then it just went down. It was the exact point the doll comes out and you're just like, oh, I don't get a good energy from this about
it was the steel ball. The magical steel ball. You're like, okay.
It was like, wow, they are really over-explaining the steel ball. And I don't like the fact that they're really over-explaining the steel ball.
Also, because the psychic wasn't explained. Like, it wasn't explained. Like, there was some rough hints to say, like, there are multiple psychics in this world.
Yeah.
But, like, I was fine with that. I was like, this is, like, okay, this is a story element, but the way they're portraying it in world felt quite grounded and quite real. Like, felt realistic. But it also then, like, you can't have then psychics and then have everyone else be completely oblivious to like psychics and magic in the world. Like everyone, like they're like, how could this happen? How could this happen in this world? Like you don't have a fucking psychic on your payroll. You suddenly can't believe that mystical shit is happening.
Yeah, that's the part that fucked me up. Where like the detective guy was just like, "There's no voodoo shit. There's nothing like that." And I'm just like, "Bro, you're literally talking to a psychic.
You literally have like psychic deluxe on your team, and now you're like, damn, how did they do? I can't believe."
Part that fucking like killed me, which was absolutely unnecessary, was, do you remember that scene when like after they find the doll and they take it to like this forensics surgeon? And he's just like, "This is a beautifully crafted doll, some of the finest craftsmanship I've ever seen." I'm like, "Bro, you're a surgeon."
Yeah, what are you talking about?
And also when the guy's like, "What's inside the steel ball?" He's like, "Yeah, don't worry about it."
He's like, I don't want to cut it open.
He's like, "Yeah, there's nothing in there. Don't worry about it."
Like he wouldn't cut it open.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't, like you wouldn't, like he x-rayed it, just found that there was nothing in it. So just cut the fucking thing open.
Fucking open it.
The way you described the doll was kind of like, damn, he's definitely on a watch list or something.
Yeah.
He was way too fucking enthusiastic about the craftsmanship.
The skin is perfect.
The porcelain touch is exquisite.
I would joke you to this. So sorry, carry on about the horror fans or how it's been rated.
I mean, like it was pretty highly rated on Rotten Tomatoes, but IMDb, I remember when it first came out, the IMDb rating was like 7+.
I was gonna watch it when it first came out. I just happened to be in LA and I wanted to watch a movie. And I'm so glad that I didn't. I would have been so pissed off.
This episode is sponsored by Shopify.
Boys, when I started my clothing brand, I had one really big issue. I had no idea where and how to sell my clothes.
Where do you even start with that, Joey?
I had the exact same question, boys, but thankfully there was one place where everything was there to make my life easier. That's Shopify.
Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US. From household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands that Joey just mentioned like Nonsense. That's where they get started.
Get started with your own design studio with hundreds of ready-to-use templates. Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store to match your brand's style. And you can also accelerate your content creation. Shopify is packed with helpful AI tools that write product descriptions, page headliners, and even enhance your product photography. And you can get the word out like you have a marketing team behind you. easily create email and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns and beyond. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify.
So turn your big business idea into
Big.
Ching! With Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period and start selling today at shopify.com/trash. Go to shopify.com/trash. That's shopify.com/trash.
Back to the episode.
That's the thing, right?
too.
Is that like not only was I absolutely just baffled with all of the positive reception on IMDb that this movie got, but also like I had a number of friends, like close friends who watch a lot of horror movies, but also just like I trust their taste in movies quite well.
Who like this movie?
Who are like, this movie's dope.
Nah, this fucking sucks.
And I'm just like,
This
bro,
movie
what are you
sucks.
cooking? This was terrible. What, like, I legitimately have to wonder. I'm like, did we watch the same movie? Because there's other than the cinematography, nothing about this movie was good.
I think my main worry is that people saw Nicolas Cage in this and felt creeped out by it. Like, how do you I can't imagine seeing Nicolas Cage in this movie and getting scared.
Yeah.
Which, by the
That's
way,
crazy.
it actually took me out.
Yeah, it did. It took me out of it.
Yeah.
Mommy! Like, what the fuck is that?
There are so many scenes here where I'm like, I can't wait for this to be in an out of context Nicolas Cage compilation.
Yeah, legit.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, false advertising. He's just a normal fucking dude. He doesn't have long legs at all.
No.
Which was
Yeah.
the biggest disappointment for me. Because when I heard the title Longlegs initially, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe it's like some kind of like spider creature or like maybe like some like Slender Man ass looking thing. And it's just like, no, it's literally just basement dwelling Nicolas
Oh,
Cage.
This made
man.
like M. Night Shyamalan's recent like Slop look good. I'm not gonna lie.
Dude, it's
Like,
crazy.
This is so bad.
I legitimately have no idea. Okay, so I'm glad I'm not crazy and you guys agree
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
me
hated
on this.
It sucked.
Did do
It's-
one good thing, which made me want to go back and watch other Nicolas Cage movies. You know, it's just it made me remember. Damn, Nicolas Cage is just such a fun actor.
Yeah.
I
not
think-
to be
yeah, I
not
get-
to be taken seriously,
Yeah.
but anytime he's on screen, it was just he's just fun.
I was gonna say, like,
Yeah.
he is fun to watch.
Yeah.
And I think that's his charm.
Yeah.
I don't think he is like
He
always
should be in
the
horror
best
movies.
actor.
No.
Or, like, there's a lot of times where he's in a movie and you're like, this works because he's clearly having fun and
Yeah.
like you are having a lot of fun with it. But
Yeah.
like,
I think he
you know.
co-produced this movie as well. if
Yeah,
I'm not
I saw
mistaken.
him on the producing
Yeah.
credits.
maybe not
Maybe that wasn't a good idea.
a good idea. I actually watched Face Off not too long ago.
Bro, I
And
same actually.
maybe like a couple of months ago I
Right.
watched it, and I felt like he was really fun in that because he's
Yeah.
such an asshole.
Well,
Yeah.
I want more films like Face Off because
Yeah.
it's literally just Nicolas Cage and John Travolta being like, all right, just go as unhinged as you like, basically. There are so many fucking amazing scenes in that movie.
It's a really fucking good movie.
It is.
I understand why it's like peak 90s. Like,
Right.
It's so good. I don't even know if it came out in the 90s, but it felt peak 90s.
I think it was 90s, yeah.
But yeah, this was just like, and I guess I'm glad at least it was so bad that I got angry and felt something because
Yeah.
halfway through I was like, man, this is really boring.
Yeah. I feel like if it actually had kind of a fleshed out story or like just had any semblance of a coherent story, then I feel like there could have been like some good parts about it.
Yeah.
Because again, like visually speaking, really nicely shot, really atmospheric and very art housey, which I like. But
Yeah, I love that part.
my God, it is what like it just baffles me that some people called this the modern day Silence of the Lambs. I'm like, bro, have you watched Silence of the Lambs?
Also, what, like, I don't know if it was ever explained. She like lives in a hut in the forest.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know why. Like, so she's an FBI agent and she literally lives in a hut in the middle of nowhere. And
Yeah.
it's like, this just feels like not a smart idea.
No.
Like, I get you're an FBI agent, but you're also like just a woman in the woods.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if this
Like you
is-
didn't think to like live in an apartment in the city or something, you know?
And she's
Or-
also like a fucking stupid FBI agent.
Oh
because
my God.
When so Longlegs also appears like 30 minutes or something outside her wooden hut in the middle of nowhere. And when she leaves to go in, which I don't even know why she does this, she goes outside of the barn in the middle of the dark to then go and I guess approach this creepy thing. She then leaves the bar, like the house, leaves her door wide open. And I'm like, you are not an FBI agent. You just are not. Like, and no sensible person, if they thought there was a creepy man in the fucking woods outside their cabin in the middle of nowhere, would leave their door open when they go out. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Bro,
like,
she trusted in that gun she was holding way too much.
Yeah, like it just doesn't, like, bro, I lock the door when I go and get like a beer from downstairs or some shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is crazy. Like, I just can't.
But even from the opening scene, remember when she's like, hey, this is the house, we should call for backup? And then the guy's like, nah, what are you talking about? And then he gets shot.
He's like,
she then immediately procedes to run into the house by herself. And I'm like,
without calling for backup.
What happened to the backup?
Yeah, like, you're literally a psychic.
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, it's just there's so much shit that doesn't make sense. And she is, like, the plot has to progress because she is fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Like, she has to be stupid for stuff to move forward. Which I like. I never like that in a story.
No.
Because I feel like, you know, it's so unsatisfying to watch, like, oh, wow, what a coincidence that, like, because I left my door open, Longlegs was able to walk into my house and put a note on my thing.
But there's also just, like, events in the story as well where it's just like, look, man, I know sometimes the FBI can be dumb, but there cannot be that. Like, when they went to the barn, right? And they were like, after she just decodes the letter and she's like, X marks the spot. So then they go to the barn and there is so clearly X's written all over this house. Like, you didn't think the police the first time they showed up were like, I wonder what these X's are.
Yeah.
Nah, whatever. Let's just fucking get out of here. Whatever.
It's just a very Christian household.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
It just gets, like, more fucking stupid the more I think about it.
That's what I loved about this movie experience is that the more you think about this movie, the more it's just like, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
And the fact that someone can watch this and be like, that was one of the greatest modern horror movies is just baffling to me.
I mean, it's one of those movies, and you know, you sometimes have I've seen a few things like this where you are invested, and then somehow they add this thing, and you're like, okay, I'm clocked out now. Like to me, it was like the dull thing where I'm like, I'm clocking out now. Like I'm no longer locked in. I don't care what happens.
Just so many unnecessary shots as well. They waste so much time, and it's only an hour and a half long.
It is insane how this genuinely should have been an hour and 10.
Yeah.
Like, this should not have been an hour and a half. There was so many scenes that lasted longer than needed to, so many things that were lingering. Like, that's fine because it's horror and it's atmospheric.
Yeah.
But when you're 50 minutes in and you're bored as shit, you're like, okay, stop now.
Yeah.
Just fucking stop. And then Nicolas Cage is just, oh my God.
And then Nicolas Cage starts singing Happy Birthday.
This is probably like the worst Nicolas Cage movie or his like worst performance I've ever seen him do.
Yeah, I would say so.
I'd say
because
so.
it's a serious performance, and
he's terrible. He's awful in this.
Needless to say, you don't need to watch Longlegs.
Yeah.
You can just listen to us ramble about it.
I'm so glad you guys agreed.
And that's a better experience than the movie itself.
I'm glad I can finally share my pain with you guys.
I hate you, Joey, because I need to sit through that.
This is such a shit decision, bro. And an hour and a half, I'm never getting back.
It's just so funny watching you guys rage because I was exactly there.
Do you know what, Sydney? I asked Sydney how long it was, and she's like, I think it's like 2 hours and a half. I was like, what? And I checked, I checked the runtime. It was an hour and a half, and she's like, oh. It felt like 2 hours and a half.
Did Sydney like this movie?
She fucking hated this movie.
Okay, thank God. Thank God.
She despised this movie.
Yeah.
So.
If you liked this movie, well, if you're watching this, I genuinely want to know, why did you think this movie was good? Because I've read so many of the positive IMDb reviews, and I'm just like, we didn't watch the same movie.
I think it didn't help that I watched like 3 fucking amazing films in like the past like 2 weeks as well.
Yeah.
That like prior to this, where
yeah,
going from like absolute fucking cinema to this was so stark and like so. Like the whiplash was insane.
Yeah. So, you guys experienced it. You never have to watch it again.
That is Longlegs, and that is this month's Anime Club.
But next episode of Anime Club, you get to pick.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I gotta pick something.
You need to pick something.
Fuck! I didn't think of anything.
Well, think about it by the end of this episode.
Yeah, think about it by the end of this episode. But if you
it's
want,
hard because you guys watch so much more anime than me.
it doesn't have to be anime.
I picked a movie.
Could be a game. Could be a movie. Could be anything. Yeah. But if you want your chance to pick what we watch next month, you can go over to patreon.com/trashtaste. You can also watch our full reactions for everything we just talked about, including me just being a giant fucking pussy during Longlegs for the first half.
Me and Mouse laughing at Longlegs the entire time.
Yeah.
Just hating the movie.
So go over to patreon.com/trashtaste and
But don't worry, episode's not over yet.
Episode's not over.
We're still going.
Until after this piss break, which I'm going to take right now.
I am also.
And because we're going to get a anime or manga suggestion from our patrons, I want you boys to play a game. Because I feel like...
Gamer?
Yeah, I think... I just want to like... And I hope that maybe you play an hour and then you get hooked. I don't know, maybe we'll see. But I want you guys to play Outer Wilds.
Oh, you talked about that one.
Yeah, I want you to play it. I think don't look anything up.
Okay.
Don't look at anything. Just download it and play it.
That is a game that's been on my list forever. So
You can stream it if you want to. Streaming action's fine too if you want to.
How long is the game?
It depends.
What does that mean?
It'll probably take. It would like to beat first time. It would probably like 10+ hours.
Okay.
Depends how gamer you are.
Me, fast.
Speedrun, actually.
No,
Did you do it in one stream?
I did. I would not recommend it.
Did you take any help? Did you have any help?
Like near the end, I got help.
Okay.
Because I was, but that was my own fault. Like I was like 14 hours deep in a stream, and I was like, guys, I gotta finish. I regret that a lot. So I would say like 2 sittings or 3 sittings is ideal.
2 sittings? All right.
But like if you want to just play an hour or 2, that's fine too.
Sure.
It'd be cool to get the vibe.
I mean, this has been on my list forever, so I might stream it.
I would stream if you get the time. Stream all of it.
Okay.
Because it's phenomenal, and I really really like this game, and I think Gaunt especially will love this game. I think you'll really enjoy it as well, Joe.
Okay.
All right.
For sure.
All right. Well,
Just don't look at anything.
Yeah, we have Outer Wilds coming up next month, along with one random anime.
Go and
Yes.
vote.
And
but
you
yeah.
guys can decide.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited because I very much. Link was like a great fucking suggestion, and it's,
I'm surprised that the patrons voted for that one. I hadn't heard about it that much. So.
it's been getting more popular. I mean, Chinese animation in general has just been getting more. I mean, let's be honest, everything Chinese has been getting more and more popular. I think this year especially, we've kind of reached like a breaking point where Chinese media is just starting to skyrocket in popularity. Of course, last year we had Black Myth Wukong breaking all kinds of records. But even in the world of like anime, Japanese animation, there are some really fucking exciting Chinese projects that are being released. Have you guys heard of To Be Hero X?
No.
So, Kai, search up the trailer to To Be Hero X. This is an anime that is currently airing this season.
Okay.
And it looks fucking insane.
Okay.
Like, I am talking arcane quality of production values.
So you watched the trailer?
Yeah, you guys can watch the trailer.
Oh wow, wow.
Yeah. So this is a collaboration between Aniplex and Bilibili, and I look at this right, and it's basically My Hero Academia crossed with like Fate. Basically, it's basically a big tournament where different superheroes from different universes or different places come together for one big fucking action tournament.
Is that why there's different art styles?
Yeah, so there's different art styles, and they all get blended together.
Whoa.
Sawano Hiroyuki.
Yeah. Hiroyuki Sawano's in this as well. And honestly, I look at something like this, and at this very moment, I haven't watched any episodes, but this just looks like on a different level of like production values that you get to see.
This is ridiculous.
It's like movie quality.
Yeah. Right. With
damn.
so many different art styles, so many different studios working on this, and I'm like, holy shit, this is a dream project.
I also noticed that the voice actors are Japanese.
Yeah, sounds like
so there's going to be like a Japanese dub and a Chinese dub to this as well. But no, it looks absolutely fucking insane.
Isn't it? I was thinking about this the other day when we watched Link Click, and I was like, it's interesting how the Chinese media that is doing well is like emulating Japanese media. Like, you think of like Hoyoverse, the games are massive, but most people play them with the JP voice actors. And it's that's a Chinese game.
Yeah.
But like, we never think, even like, I think the games themselves never offer like, maybe they do offer Chinese voices.
No, they do offer Chinese
but
voice
it's like
acting.
always like Japanese or
that's
English.
because we're fucking weebs, okay?
Right? But like, isn't it so strange?
I think it's fucking like every time I stream one of those games and I stream with like English dub, everyone's like, "Yo, do the Japanese dub," and I'm like, "That's not even the original dub."
Isn't that crazy? Because that would be like watching like a Spanish movie and then being like, "Nah, you got to watch the Viet dub, bro. You got to watch the Viet dub." And it's like, not like the both base language and the language that you are suggesting are not your language.
Yeah.
Like, nor is it the original. Like, which is crazy, right? Because like, if you were to play watch this anime, you'd be like, if you wanted, most people when they watch a movie, they want to watch it in the original language.
Yeah.
So, but for some reason, with like anything that is like Japanese-esque media, like even stuff that is not Japanese, it's like, nah, you got to watch it in Japanese. And it's like, I'm sure if like Japan made a Marvel film and if you were Chinese, would you be like, nah, you got to watch this in English? You know what I mean? Like, isn't that so bizarre that we're like, we like see a style and it doesn't matter like which country or origin or whatever, you're like, nah, I got to watch the Japanese. Like,
otherwise it doesn't feel right.
Like somehow they will now understand the media or understand the message of said media better than any other voice actors would.
Right.
And like maybe there's an argument there to be like they'll still sound the best. But like I was like losing my mind like thinking about how weird this is.
I'm like,
bro,
you still got the subs on. What's the difference?
Right? Like I'm sure there's people who watch Castlevania, and I was thinking about this. You probably thought like, no, I want to hear the Japanese, and it's like, brother, it's English. Like, so like. Why do we do that? Like, why is this a thing? It only happens with Japanese media or Japanese-like media.
Well, I think there's
fucking goated. Clearly.
I mean, Japanese voice acting is goated.
It is, yeah.
But there's also just the whole Japanese thing, Japanese thing.
But like, isn't that kind of crazy that like, it feels like everything that Japan's doing, China is like, I'll just do it bigger and better.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the resources, they have the budgets, and they got the manpower now.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing they were missing before was experience, but now they are, a lot of Chinese animation studios have helped Japanese productions before, and now they have clearly been able to use that experience just to do their own thing.
Yeah.
And it's starting to like come to fruition. And I think it's only a matter of time before we get more and more big budgets.
I think so.
High profile Chinese animation.
Because I think all the big mobile games that once used to be Japanese are
now Chinese.
All Chinese.
Yeah, now Chinese.
Like other than Fate and maybe some of the idol games that are only popular in Japan, what are some big Japanese games?
Uma Musume, maybe?
Yeah.
I would only really count that as a Japan thing though as well, right?
Yeah.
Like is Uma Musume that popular outside of Japan?
maybe in Asia.
Yeah. Any
maybe
country where horse race betting is popular, I guess.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting, and I wonder if we're going to see that change because obviously this started happening 5 to 7 years
Or
ago.
COVID, I would say.
Yeah, COVID is when the shift to mobile games or gaming in general kind of became a lot more dominated by China as opposed to Japan. But not even that like they're dominating like gaming, but like it felt like China specifically, everything that Japan was the niche for, they were like, no. Because they haven't, like, Western gaming or other types hasn't, like, kind of had this thing. So I've just been thinking about it, like, why specifically has China gotten so good at emulating, like, specifically, like, Japanese-style games or, like, Japanese media?
Well, I would say, Whenever any artist makes something, you have to get it inspired by something. You have to get
true.
your inspiration from something. And I think just so many people in Chinese animation had helped, probably been inspired by Japanese anime.
I mean, it probably also helps that there's like a cultural similarity as well in a lot of aspects between China and Japan as opposed to Japan and, the West, for instance.
Yeah, right.
So it's probably more natural for them to just go with that kind of style because I'm sure like even before a lot of those Chinese animation studios were helping Japanese animation studios, they were already kind of in that anime-esque style, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a natural transition, I think, to do that.
Yeah. And I mean, I've read a bunch of like Chinese manhwa as well. And it's similar to manga and that storytelling style. You can definitely tell it's inspired, but I would still say that it definitely has a more, there are subtleties into how it represents that culture and just the different trends you see. I would say, especially in Chinese manhwa, it's all about, I'm going to put this, a lot of stories, the main character just has aura. There's a lot of aura farming, man, and like looking cool. You know, in Japan, we have like our isekai protagonist.
It's like literally the opposite.
Yeah.
We got negative aura.
They have like aura losing.
Yeah.
And you can tell
Aura draining.
And you can tell with a lot of the difference. I mean, fucking Solo Leveling has blown up this year.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the difference, I will say, you know, on paper, you look at something like Solo Leveling, and what Solo Leveling does well is not something that most isekai don't also do. It's a power fantasy. Kirito was there at the beginning, but the difference in aura between your average isekai protagonist and Sung Jin Woo, I'm like, there's only one winner for that. And I know Solo Leveling is Korean, but still, it's you see the slight difference in tones and approaches for this kind of thing.
There might be like the Japanese like cultural side of like, you know, wanting to be reserved.
Yeah, never be like
and being like, no. Like I'm happy with where I am. You know, I'm fine with just accepting like this, you know, very humble position that I am. And that's why, you know, a lot of the isekai protagonists in Japanese media, I feel, is very much, you know, that kind of vibe where it's like, no, I'm just happy to be in this world, guys. Like it's all good. Meanwhile, in China and Korea, they were like, I need to be the most based motherfucker imaginable. Otherwise, I will not be happy.
Everyone's a fucking aura farmer, man. I swear to God. But I mean, it's interesting just to see, you know, different cultural viewpoints for something that looks aesthetically very, very similar. You know, very, very similar. Because have you guys been watching Solo Leveling at all?
No.
I watched like 2 episodes so long ago when season 1 was out.
Yeah, I watched like 3 or 4 episodes of season 1.
But I know everyone loves it. Everyone's talking about it.
I mean, it is the next big thing, you know. Right now, it's insane to me how popular it's gotten. Because I knew it was going to get popular, not this popular.
Yeah, it's kind of gotten like mainstream, I feel like. Everyone's kind of talking about it.
Yeah, especially during like this season 2. And you look at the selling point of like, what is the selling point of Solo Leveling? And it's 90% aura. And I think I said this on stream. I think we're in like we're going to see like a slight shift into the anime that's getting made nowadays.
I mean, I won't lie. Like, it's probably just fucking refreshing to have a protagonist that's not a fucking wimp.
Yeah, legit.
I think like that has been an iterative thing that has been very annoying. Like not every single, but like we are so used to so many main characters in anime just being like annoying, whiny, I'm just a little pathetic. Like, and it's like, I imagine it's probably just a breath of fresh air to have. I mean, I haven't watched the new season, but like, presumably a guy that is just like what a 10-year-old would think is cool. Yeah, like is, you know, like just a guy with pure aura and nothing else and not much else going on.
Yeah,
finally a main protagonist with self-confidence.
Right, like I think that's probably like also a reason why it's probably done well with probably with assuming amazing animation.
It's got amazing animation, amazing action.
Yeah,
I mean the writing is what I knew it was going to be from the webcomic anyway. Yeah. But I was like saying, I think this is going to signal a shift into like the aura farming era. That is my prediction for the next 5. Because like what I see with Solo Leveling, I get the same feeling watching the success of Solo Leveling as I did seeing Sword Art Online pop off 10, 20, how long has it been? Fucking 13 years ago now?
15 years ago, I believe.
15 years ago? Yeah. Fucking hell.
I think 14? 2011?
10 or 11.
I thought it was 2012. It was 2012.
So okay, let's use right. We all said a different thing.
2012.
Oh, Gaunt is spot on, bro.
Yeah, but he's also the isekai. He's also the isekai man, so he knows.
He knows the birth of his genre.
Look. No, I know everything up to 2012 because that's when I started doing my yearly recap. So I'm like, okay, let me think back to what year I talked about this. 2012 sounds about right.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just going in loops, you know. Maybe we're just going in loops. We'll get Giga Chad protagonists, and in 5 years we'll be like, God, I just want a guy with a bit of depth, not just a Giga Chad. You know?
I mean, no. Back in the day, when I first watched Sword Art Online, I'll be honest, I thought Kirito was a Giga Chad.
We all thought he was a Giga Chad.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to be a beta.
Yo, that scene when they're like, yo, actually, I am the beta. I am a beta. You're right. I'm like, yo, he's so cool. And that scene where he fucking
slash at me all you want, but my healing is too high level, and it's just like, yo!
Yes.
I mean, that was aura farming.
That was
Yeah,
farming.
okay, that was aura farming. But
Except then Kirito was like a fucking 12-year-old. Yeah, what's up, guys? And you're like, okay.
Don't kill my girlfriend.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
And then he like raises a kid for some reason. And you're like, that's not very Giga Chat of you to stick around to raise a kid.
God forbid.
yeah, but the fucking scene where he brings out the second sword for the first time, engraved into like my mind back then.
Yeah.
And now you look back and you're like, damn. Compared to the aura of modern day protagonists,
Kirito's a bitch.
he is a beta actually. They called it right. What the hell is going on?
I mean, it'd be nice to see if the trend changes, because I feel like we have been stuck in an isekai rut for quite a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, isekai is never gonna fully go away,
But it felt like it's the main, the like main shows that are produced.
It's the main formula,
The amount, the quantity.
Yeah.
Like, we get a lot of isekais.
Yeah.
And so we've spoken about this like a million times in the episode, how we're like, please, we want this to change. So hopefully it changes.
Because if solo leveling is the success of solo leveling is an indicator of anything, then we might see more webcomics, webtoons. I mean, I feel like solo leveling is what they wanted, like Tower of Gods, and
They put a lot into that too.
they put a lot into that, but they didn't blow up like solo leveling did.
No.
And oh boy, if you think the isekai genre is brain rots, oh boy, let me tell you about Korean manhwa and Chinese cultivation manhwa, man.
What is cultivation manhwa?
Huh?
What is cultivation manhwa?
It is a genre in, a lot of Chinese webcomics where it's basically about, cultivating martial arts, kind of like cultivating ki and all that kind of thing. It's a whole genre. It's basically their equivalent of the isekai genre. It's pure power fantasy trash, but just with a different thing.
I hope that's not the lesson that like is taken from this. They're like, well, clearly they want more power fantasy and garbage. We should just get it from a different country.
Look at solo leveling,
I know,
man.
I'm worried that the shift will be just isekai garbage from another country. Like that's the lesson they take. They're like, oh, Sasuga. They just start adapting basically the Chinese version of the Japanese shows.
Yeah.
I hope that's not the lesson that is being taken away here.
I honestly think that might be the lesson that they've taken.
Why?
Because in Korea,
People love that shit.
in Korea, they have this whole they have this whole genre that's called like regression, which is basically the ReZero mechanic, but just add 10 times more like brain rot and 20 times more power fantasy to it. And
I thought you said we were going in the right direction.
I said we were changing direction.
Okay.
That I said the direction was changing. I didn't necessarily say it was going to change for the better. I just said it was going to change.
I watched the original Ghost in the Shell movie like a month ago, and it was like, holy shit. This is what we were doing back then.
Yeah.
This is the kind of shit we used to make.
Yeah.
What happened?
What happened,
man? That was like back when anime was more about the fucking vibe.
Oh, yeah.
Like the vibes were off the charts.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. What did you think of it?
It was awesome.
Yeah, it's
It
so
was
good.
sick, bro. It was just like, holy shit. It was more about like, I felt like that was when the priority, or at least in this movie, you're watching it, and it felt like the priority of this movie, because honestly, the story, it kind of ends in like a weird spot. And you're like, all right.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
like,
they cliff notes the fuck out of it.
But dude, the world and the vibe is like off the charts.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because obviously I'd watched Standalone Complex before, and I really loved that show. And I like that one a lot. And I'd never watched the original. So watching the original and seeing how they introduce parts of the world that I recognized from the Standalone concept, Standalone Complex, was really awesome. And obviously Major as like a character is just fucking sick.
Yeah.
And I think rewatching, like, I said, I don't know if I said this on a podcast episode, but I rewatched Akira, and I think rewatching it now as an adult, especially in the modern day anime climate, I was like, oh, I still think the story is like
Yeah.
but damn, the vibe, man.
Yeah,
It's
the
just
vibes, the worlds they used to make were so like fucking cool.
Yeah.
And like when they used to make cyberpunk or cyber worlds in like the 90s and 2000s, it was so sick.
Yeah.
Because they would mix like the analog green PC text with like super futuristic concept, and it was just so sick.
Yeah.
It was so cool back when PCs used to fucking churn and
It
go,
just scratches that part of the brain where you're like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
yeah, dude, it was so sick.
Yeah.
And again, it felt like the world building and the vibe was like the priority when they're doing these shows. And even if you didn't like the story, you at least walked away feeling like, God damn.
That was an experience.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with like Trigun and the original Trigun to a sense.
Yeah,
I feel like
100%.
the vibe that they make, even though it's kind of silly, you're just kind of like, God damn. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, this is like
Western mixed with a bit of futuristic aspects. So cool.
this is just so clean now, and a lot of modern anime. This is so nostalgic now, and lots of modern anime nowadays just look very clean. I would say,
Yeah, squeaky clean.
like very, very squeaky clean. Even something as old, as old as Sword Art Online, still looks like squeaky clean.
Yeah. And I think there's like this need to. There's like such a desperate need to have the first episode kind of be cohesive and like not cohesive, but like just sell you on it.
Yeah.
Like there's never because nowadays you can't wait 3 episodes to introduce a world and get people hooked on it. It's like, explain everything right away, show everything right away.
Yeah.
And I feel like that kind of hinders some of the really cool aspects.
Yeah, we're just
of anime.
missing that like kind of like the raw, gritty feeling that we just like don't really get anymore because they just have to like polish everything off and be like, see guys, it looks sound and it's nicely like packaged for you to fully understand everything that's going on. And not to say that's like necessarily a bad thing, but like sometimes I just want that like, like Ghost in the Shell and Akira, just like that rough around the edges feel to it.
Yeah.
It's not that like the way that it was made was rough around the edges or anything. It's just something about it. It's just like
It's got edge.
it's that like good level of edge that we just don't really get as much anymore.
But also I think it's just because the visual style has become somewhat cohesive. I feel like a lot of animes look
feel the same.
Indistinguishable.
Yeah.
Like obviously there's some outliers. There always are. But
Yeah.
like the style has become like this is the anime style.
Yeah.
Where it's like it's so different back then, and I feel like maybe the need to conform and have such a uniform style does kind of hurt at times. But then it's also like, look, I mean, they're drawing from the manga. The manga is all drawn like that. So it's like, what do you? I don't know. Like, I don't know what I'm getting at with this point.
I think
old man yells, things have changed. Like, that's what the segment is.
I think what's slowly happening is that like it's just slowly becoming this like echo chamber now where the newer stuff, the newer manga,
it's like inbred.
Yeah, the newer manga and anime is being influenced by manga and anime. Whereas I feel if you go back to like the times of like Ghost in the Shell and Akira, they kind of drew inspirations from all sorts of other things, and it just culminated into this
And I was thinking about this. I think this is why when I read Fire Punch and all of I forgot his name, Fujimoto's works, I feel so crazy.
Yeah,
he doesn't. It almost feels like he has some anime tropes that are there for sure, but like his inspiration clearly comes from cinema.
Yeah.
And that's I think a reason why it feels so different as well.
Yeah, totally.
Because he's clearly not drawing inspiration from many prior animes. Or obviously, I'm sure there are some. Someone will be like, actually, but like the main influence feels like cinema and the way that they make films, and he's trying to desperately
Western
get that across.
cinematography.
It's not just like anime manga is drawing inspiration from.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
totally.
Like, it's really cool.
Yeah,
I would
really
say the
cool.
same thing. I would say the modern day director that does the same kind of like feel to that is probably Shinichiro Watanabe.
Yeah.
Because his newest project right now, Lazarus, is currently airing, and it just everything he makes just feels so different to your modern anime to the point where it just
I gotta watch that.
in a way it doesn't feel like anime at all.
Yeah.
You know,
In the best
That's what
way.
I want, man.
Yeah.
I want something that feels different.
Yeah.
yeah.
Totally.
And I think to some extent that's why I enjoyed the fucking Castlevania anime so much, is that it was very much anime and emulating anime, but had a really like awesome feel to it. I don't know. It was really cool.
It clearly like took influence from like Western film as well, right? That were like not anime. And
Also, the fucking facial animations of the newest season of Castlevania are ridiculous.
Oh, really?
They're like so beautifully drawn.
yeah.
Especially like Alucard.
Oh, yeah.
Alucard looks like a fucking like Pocari Sweat ad every single shot of him in this new season. It's
What does that mean?
He looks like he's glistening, and like the facial detail is honestly fucking ridiculous. It's so
Can we
good.
look it up?
Yeah, can I like? It's kind of absurd. Like watching it, you're like, why the fuck did they animate the face so hard in like the newest season? It's like the newest one. It would be like what's it fucking called? I think you need to show a clip. Yeah, Nocturne.
Nocturne.
Castlevania came in Nocturne, and then just pull up your season 2 or whatever. Just pull up the video or whatever. Sure.
This one.
This from which one is this from?
From Nocturne, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, where is he?
This is from season 1, I think.
God, it's so clean.
That is
It's
clean
so
as
nice. Oh yeah,
fuck,
dude,
man.
look at look every time they draw his face, it's like insane the amount they've like work they put on. Look at that.
Oh, he's so hot.
He's so fucking hot. And every time there's a shot of him, he looks insanely beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But this
looks clean as fuck, man.
it's whenever they zoom in on his face, wow, it looks fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. God damn. God, look at him. Dream.
It's so fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
Bro. I don't know. Like it was so. A lot of the stuff that I liked about this is that there was like kind of harshness to how they would draw the characters, but they would make them look so fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
I'm just ranting. Old men rant a cloud.
And then we have, we've had the 90s era nostalgia, and we're now reaching to the point where 2000s era nostalgia is becoming a thing.
Yeah, true.
Because I just showed them before this episode aired the trailer to the new Devil May Cry anime, and just
I was sold first 5 seconds.
the reaction. Anyone who hasn't seen it, if you grew up in the 2000s, go watch the trailer now alone, because I don't want to spoil the experience.
Yeah.
Because everyone I've shown it to, including myself, has had the exact same experience where, spoiler alert, for the trailer, within you're like, all right, Devil May Cry anime. I'm interested. Looks cool. What's happening? And then out of nowhere, you hear, cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort.
Suffocation. No breathing.
Oh my god.
And everyone I've shown it to is just
like, fuck yeah.
no fucking
Like
way.
being hit by a like 20 fucking 2000s memory.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then Garn showed us the opening
Yeah.
to it, and they used fucking Rollin' by Limp Bizkit.
They use Rollin' by
no.
Limp Bizkit.
So good.
Yeah. And
That's so 2000s.
and Evanescence is also part of the
Let's
OST
go!
as well. I just they knew exactly what they were doing.
Damn,
And-
is 2000s nostalgia like a thing now?
Yeah, dude.
Fuck.
It's like when we look back at like the 90s.
Actually, I do love playing games that use the PS1 like polygon style. I love
True.
Oh yeah.
I love whenever
Yeah.
they use like the early PlayStation
Oh,
styles,
man.
because they're so distinct.
The N64 PS1 look now is
Dude.
like
It's so in now.
it's so in now. Yeah.
And it's weird now.
Yeah.
'Cause are we going to look back fondly on the 2010s or 2020s? Like,
don't
not
know.
really, right?
I don't
We've kind of
know.
lost all
Yeah.
decade,
Dude,
kind of-
10, 15 years from now, we're going to look back at the fucking Xbox 360 menu and being like, oh, good times.
Bro, I still, dude, there was a video where there was a guy comparing Nokia phone video quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was so weird because it like, dude, I kind of want to just see if we can find it, because the instant nostalgia I felt when he showed the video quality,
Yeah.
Nokia phone quality comparison, and then click shorts. Oh yeah. This one, the second one.
This one?
Yeah, dude. Watch this nostalgia.
Oh, look at the fucking
man.
flip.
Bro, I felt this in real time. Watch this.
Hold up.
Oh my god!
Holy shit!
The 4x3?
Oh, why is that a thing? Why do I feel emotions looking at this like frame rate?
4x3,
as tall as it is?
15 frames a second.
Go back as well, and then go to the first one. Yeah, dude, I felt so nostalgic with the first one as well.
Oh man. Why am I feeling nostalgia for this? Why am I feeling nostalgia for a video format, man? This is insane.
Oh, even just the photos as well.
Yeah.
Dude.
Click this guy's channel and click most popular, and on the shorts. Yeah, most popular. Yeah, do the second one, bro. The second one. This one fucked me up.
What is
Dude.
this phone?
What?
I don't know.
I've
but
never seen
dude,
that phone
Watch this
before.
video quality right now.
All right. I'm so invested.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
13 frames?
It hit me, bro. It hit me. I was like, I didn't think I was gonna feel nostalgic, and the moment he played it, I was
Yeah.
like, fuck. I instantly felt nostalgic for
Dude,
that
did
video
you
quality.
did you see that resolution?
Yes.
174 by 176.
Like,
12.3 frames.
It just, I don't know, man. Like, it was so weird. Feeling nostalgic for that.
Oh my god!
Because that's objectively shit.
Yeah, it's just
but
objectively bad.
It kind of hits it like channeled 3 memories of my instant nostalgia.
Yeah, I'll tell you the memory this channeled. Back when they just started, not even doing. We didn't have like 3G back then or anything like that. I forgot what they used before 3G, but there was like a way to connect to the web.
It was.
I can't remember what it was called.
It was H. I know there was H.
Yeah,
there was something else. I know what you're talking about. There was something else.
Right. There was something else where you could connect to this shitty web version of every website instead of going to the actual website.
Yeah.
I remember there was a service that you could watch the goals of the latest Premier League matches that had just been scored, and it was in this quality to the point where you could not even tell where the ball was because the bit rate was so shit.
Bad,
that you just saw
It's just like pixels moving across the screen.
It's 174 pixels by 107. That's so little.
Yeah, I can see all 174 pixels.
Right.
Matt.
It's just it's I wonder if we'll feel more nostalgia.
Dude, the artifacting is crazy in this video as well.
I wonder if we'll feel more nostalgia for it.
Dude, I'm already feeling it.
Yeah, like if in 30 years you show me a fucking crunch video like this, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, we're gonna watch like a 480p video.
Dude, I saw this video where it was just like, I don't know why this is so funny. I guess modern day humor is broken. Have you seen the Party Rock low quality?
I think I have seen this.
I don't know why this is funny, but can you search Party Rock low quality? Like, this objectively shouldn't be funny, but you can't hear it. Wait.
Skip ahead.
Wait. I want to see if the speakers are even good enough to pick up the fucking. Okay, no, it's not. Wait, let me see if I can find it on my phone.
That's already funny.
I could hear it though.
I love that.
Why is this funny?
I love that.
Funny?
That's so funny.
One Piece SpongeBob dancing. Oh my god, man.
What has modern humor evolved into?
These kids won't know it, bro. Everything's in 4K now. They don't know how we had it back then.
And you know that if someone had that on their phone and you were like, yo, Bluetooth me that shit would take like 3 hours.
Oh, bro. And like if your friend fucking moved his phone or like blocked it, you were like, fucking
do this the whole time.
And you had to put your phone like this on top of each other to like get it to go fast. It was so fun.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, I have a few friends who have started like reusing disposable cameras. Like, yeah. That's becoming a trend.
That's the thing now.
Because the look it's got a good look to it.
Yeah, and I'm like, I've seen some of like the final work, and I'm like, damn, this is cool as fuck. Yeah, I can't put my finger on
early
why.
2000s flash photography is just the thing now.
Yeah,
it's just got the vibe is just immaculate. Like, yeah, like we have like a film camera at home that we use when we take on trips and stuff, and it's so good as well because it's like it actually, unlike like a phone camera where you can just go crazy with it. With the film camera, you have to really think about like, okay, what photo am I going to take? So every photo matters. But even if the quality is shit, it's just like, I can't see anything that's happening in this photo, but it's a fucking vibe. It's so nice now.
Yeah, and
that was the norm.
Yeah, I think it's only a matter of time before we bring back the. Did your parents have any of like the old handheld like Sony cams or some shit like that?
Hell yeah, we did.
Seeing some of like I remember like seeing some of like my baby videos that my mom took ages ago. I'm like, damn, this is
that's in now though on YouTube. A lot of people buy the like 2000s camcorders and film with it because it's got like a really fun look to it. But I think all my family videos are somewhere in the attic. I just would need to get them in digital format. I think it'd be cool. But
have you ever seen your family videos?
Not for a long time. My family sells all the family pictures, which is really trippy to see. Because they're like pictures from like the 80s and stuff, and that's like really trippy.
Oh, have you ever seen your like parents when they were young?
Yeah.
Have they ever
yeah.
Bro, it's
that's trippy
so
as fuck.
fucking trippy.
See my dad with hair.
I know, same here. My dad had hair down to here.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, I think my mom had one picture from her like high school prom, and it's like insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like
just even just seeing your parents at the age that you're currently at is one of the weirdest things to see. It looks like
it's trippy.
It's like looking at like a parallel universe.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that's not a real person. But the fact that is my parents is so weird.
I don't believe that this exists right now.
It's like that is not a real person.
Yeah.
Damn.
I actually have like the longest I've gone back is that there have been like there's one like old school photo of my grandma when she was like when she was an adult.
Yeah.
And it was like I didn't for the longest time there was just like this black and white photo just plastered on my wall, and I was like, why do we have this random woman on our wall? I remember one day my mom was like, oh, that's grandma. And I was like, that's grandma?
Oh my God. Yeah, it's so impossible to imagine your grandparents being young.
And I'm like, but that's a person. You know, I think
that's a young person.
Yeah, that's a young person. That looks like one of my cousins. Almost. Because I actually thought that this was like a cousin that I'd never met before. And I was like, it was my mind as a kid was like fucking blown. Just being like, wait, grandma was like a person before she was grandma.
I'm like, bro, she ate.
I think you should get to like somewhat see your parents' age.
Yeah.
And because you're around them so much too.
Yeah.
But your grandparents are just always old.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's impossible to imagine them not being old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially because even for like grandma, like our grandparents' age, there are probably even like less opportunities to take any kind of photos.
Like super rare.
Like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like, I remember it was just super fucking surreal, which makes me think, you know, with the amount of fucking content we have online, how different the perception of like the new generation is going to be, where there's nothing is hidden.
Yeah, nothing's hidden.
And we can, do you know what scares me the most? Where like the new generation is going to be able to see how fucking stupid this current generation is. Whereas, you know, I'm sure our parents did some dumb shit as well, said some dumb shit, but we can only take their word for it. You know, there's only word of mouth.
Yeah.
With our generation, the evidence is going to be there. You know,
there's going to be so many receipts.
There's so many receipts.
It's like, oh, Dad, you weren't an idiot. Oh, well, I have roughly 400 hours of receipts to back this up.
It's also like I was thinking about this. I was like, how? Because like we're already reaching to the point where like video quality and audio quality is getting near indistinguishable to real life.
Yeah,
like. Will media in 70 years look exactly the same? Will the styles just be slightly different? But like the quality will look similar. And that was one, I think, big factor of how we determine in our brain how old something is. But that won't be a reliable way of tackling media.
I mean, I think...
Will games age better? Will we be like, dude, you got to play this game from like 50 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, right?
I mean, I think a big thing, at least, is going to be whatever is going to happen with AI in the future.
Oh God.
Because it is coming, whether we like it or not. And it's already partially here even, and it pretty much depends on what are we going to be allowed to use that for, because I feel like that is going to dictate the aesthetic of what we're going to be.
Looks like shit.
Yeah, because even now, it's like, I feel bad because sometimes it's gotten to the point where I look at, you know, when you're scrolling and you look at like a piece of artwork, you're like, this looks AI-ish.
Yeah.
And I'm not educated enough to be able to tell from first glance. And I don't want to make any assumptions just in case it's not. But like, I literally cannot tell right now.
Yeah.
And there are some aesthetics that you're like, damn, this looks too close to to whatever aesthetic that we're used to seeing that for.
The next form of entertainment in like, 70, 100 years from now is just going to like, it's literally just going to be link click. Like we'll be able to like just go into a photo and be like, okay, time for my entertainment.
Change Joey's past.
Dap up your bro, get in there.
Yeah. We won't be needed anymore. Every recommendation is just going to be filtered with algorithms.
Yep. If it isn't already.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But,
scary.
That's been Trash Taste.
That's been Trash Taste.
If you want to go and watch our reactions to Link Click and Longlegs, once again, go to the Patreon. Go check it out.
Yeah.
Because Link Click is fucking phenomenal.
You can also vote for the next Anime Club entry. It could be anime, manga. Yeah, on the Patreon. It could be anime, manga, whatever you guys vote for. We will consume it and let you guys know our thoughts about it.
Oh God, come on. Let's not do this right now. I don't want to watch. Ba 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 ba.
I gotta go. I'll call you back,
Oh
okay?
no, come on. Don't you? Oh no, she's by herself. Come on. Men want one thing, and it's not being fucking jump scared in a horror movie. Slip inside the eye of your mind. Don't you know you might find...
But if you want to check out our reactions as well as a bunch of other weekly exclusive Patreon content and support the show in the process, head on over to patreon.com/trashtaste. Also follow us on Twitter, send us some memes on the subreddit, and if you hate our face, listen to us on Spotify.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye. Bye.